Do I need to put my picture up there?
I think a lot of us know what you look like, but we're always happy to see you.
It's better I put Kaitlyn Griffin with I see. How do I do that? I'm afraid to touch it. Old start video.
I have it muted, but
I've got new glasses. I just want to share.
Hold on.
Oh,
Look, there I am. Got my new glasses.
Okay.
well, Adam, I think we have everybody here. If you'd like me to call roll.
Yes, please do.
Mr. Pahovich,
Here.
Mr. McNulty,
Here.
Ms. Trubellis.
She's there.
Yeah, sorry.
Here.
Okay. Mr. Pierce.
Here.
And Ms. Harris.
Here.
All right.
Okay, so we're here tonight to discuss the rezoning application ZON-21-03 for Evans Farms land development. This is in regards to amendment to the current development text. Is there someone with the applicant that wishes to speak about tonight's hearing?
And Adam, I can give a brief presentation.
Oh, yeah,
first,
please.
if that's
Yeah.
okay. All right, let me pull up my staff report. Okay, so as Mr. Pahovich mentioned, this is zoning case number zone-21-04 of Evans Farm. They are requesting a minor amendment to the Evans Farm Single Family Plan Residential District. I know we have some newer members here. I think we've gone through one amendment before. But the area is primarily surrounded by single family homes. They are at a pretty large area of the township. So this is Lewis Center Road here on the south, and then it goes along the railroad tracks and all the way up to Shanahan. But they are requesting an amendment for us to decrease the setback for in-ground swimming pools. Essentially, as we all know, the Evans Farm lots are designed smaller. So in order to fit a swimming pool in these lots, it does not comply with our general standards in our Orange Township zoning resolution. So the applicant is here today to seek an amendment for that. And I'll have Dan explain that further too. But we sent this over to Regional Planning Commission because of the minor amendment. They didn't require a review. And the applicant is proposing to have the setback to 10 feet. So that is the setback for structures in most of the bigger lots. Some of the smaller lots even have a 6-foot setback, but they're proposing a 10 feet from public right of way. And this is really impacting a lot of the corner lots too. So again, because of the way our code reads, our code currently says it's 25-foot setback to all public roads. Well, Evans Farm is all public streets for the most part, except for the alleys. And so it is, having a 25-foot setback on a corner lot, it makes it nearly impossible to put anything there as it stands. Shared this with other departments. There was no review, and this is a pretty simple amendment. And I can open it up to, if the board is okay with me leaving it open to, or opening it up to Dan Griffin to further explain. That'd be great.
I like to talk. No, as we've always done, and we move forward with Evans Farm, we find minor amendments, tweaks that we all, Orange Township and Evans Farm, wants to make to enhance, all of our vision. And so this is one area where, we could actually put even a structure there, but there was an old code section that was really for lakes and water impoundments. But when they mentioned pools, it applied to our corner lots. So we're just asking for our single family residential Evans Farm for the corner lots to allow for a 10-foot setback off the right of way to put pools. It's pretty simple on that. So we're appreciate any questions or anybody would have.
So I know there are already a few pools, I believe, in Evans Farm. Are they basically in the interior lots and not the corner lots, or how large are the lots where the pools are right now?
Yeah, there's pools on 55 and 60-foot lots, but they're not the corner ones.
Okay.
And on the corner ones, when you push the house to one setback of 6, your only other yard is bordered by a street. So these houses actually have a frontage on one street, a side yard / frontage on another one, then an alley behind them. And this is the only location that the residents on these corner lots would be able to put a pool or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also, and just to add to it, I think the other reason why we have this section in our code was really for water impoundments along with, major corridors like 23. So if there was a car accident, they wouldn't, fall into the pond or something, or there was enough setback for safety reasons. And, Evans Farm is a small neighborhood community. And I think this standard to me really applies to our major corridors, not necessarily every neighborhood street, or I don't think it should. And maybe that's something we want to revisit in the future for the zoning rewrite too, but just my 2 cents.
So, Michelle, I have a question for you as well. Right now, the word says pool shall be permitted to be located no closer than 10 feet to the right of way on corner lots, having 2 public frontages. I understand, 10 feet from the side yard, but the way it sounds like now, it could also be 10 feet from your front yard, which are there guidelines in our township code saying how far the pool has to be, like in your backyard, not in your front yard?
I do know this. We require pools in rear yards. And they can't be, I think I want to say they can't be within 25 feet from the front of the house. So they have to be back that far.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. And Christine, we don't specify if it, there's certain setbacks between front, side, or rear with pools, I guess.
Mhm.
I've never witnessed this until Evans Farm. So this was there was some staff oversight when this all started because we were unfamiliar with, Evans Farm is such a unique development that this was brought up to our attention because I've never done a pool near a front yard before. So
yeah, I was just asking because right now it sounds like there's like a big loophole that you can put it in the front yard. 10 feet
No, I
from
don't
the
think you
driveway.
can.
And that's not, obviously, I understand, the issue with the tight lots and the side yard setbacks and the rear, but obviously I don't want a pool in the front yard.
yeah,
Right.
and I think the other intention, and Dan, tell me if I'm wrong, but the point of the Evans Farm homes was that it had more of a front it was closer to the front setback to have the, building in the
Oh,
front,
yeah.
parking in the rear. So, I mean, even if, I don't think it's physically not possible to put a pool in the
And we
front.
don't allow them. Again, we have strict guidelines and nobody would put a pool because I don't think you could ever get one because of our 10-foot from the right of way for the house, for the structure. So.
But I will say, if we do our zoning code update, I think we might want to try to avoid that for our,
Make sure
our
pools are
bigger
in the
subdivision.
backyard, yes.
Yeah.
By the way, I wanted to add, and I know this isn't part of the meeting, but before I forget, July 11th, we are having, and you'll get invitations. I sent it, Michelle, just to you. We just finished it, but since it's coming up, July 11th, we're having Celebrating America, the flag raising. And for those of you who haven't driven by, a couple of our residents, we put up a 40-foot flagpole at the south end of the right as you drive in so you can see it. And the fire department and a lot of we want all the Orange Township people and the commissioners. And we're going to have a little street festival celebration of America on July 11th. And we food trucks and bounce houses for the kids and face painting, somewhat like we've had before, Christine. I think you've been to several of them, Michelle. So I just didn't want to forget that.
Dan, is that July 11th or July 4th?
July 11th. July 4th, we're having our own. July 4th, we're having a residents gathering. But July 11th is going to go out to the all of Orange Township residents and a lot of the officials. And again, the fire department's going to bring some fire trucks. And yeah, we're going to have a good old Celebrate America.
Well, that'll be in our minutes, so we'll make note of it.
Now public knowledge.
That's right.
Well, good. You know, I'm a marketing and advertising guy. I'd like to get them in when I can.
Michelle, are the typical setbacks throughout Evans Farms all 25 feet?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think even the 40-foot lots have as small of a setback as 6 feet
Oh, really?
for structures.
Yeah,
So
6 foot.
it's
6 foot side yards. Yeah, 6 foot side yards, 10-foot front yard on these smaller lots. So we could put the house all the way up there. That's why we want to save the yard for these type of facilities and not make the house go all the way up. But we could push a house all the way to that 10-foot setback from the right of way. So.
I think you mentioned it, but what is typically in the backyards that the side yard would possibly be used for a pool versus the backyard?
Well, in these lots that front two public streets and have an alley behind them feeding them, there really is no backyard. The setback from any structure to the center of the alley is 28 feet, which is always the garage.
Okay.
So
it's the alley and garage that are taking up that space in the rear yards.
yeah. So that becomes a sort of a side yard situation. We have a lot of the residents that have put pools in their side courtyards on these smaller lots, but they're not fronted by two streets.
And I'm also, are the corner lots typically, as in most residential neighborhoods, bigger than the other lots?
They are. We try to make them bigger because of the setbacks and because of wanting, want somebody to have that side yard.
Yeah. I also want to note to the commission that, if the board does wish to recommend this amendment, the fencing requirements are still remaining the same. So
Yeah.
we still require a 5-foot fence. So I hopefully just wanted to make sure the board understood that too.
Yeah, and we've been through with our architectural design guidelines. We've already looked at a lot of these fences, and they have pillars, and so even in this case, someone could not drive their bicycle through and get to the pool.
So this is Adam. I would say, the reason for the code, and as Michelle stated earlier, is more of a safety concern and not really applicable to this particular situation. On roads with higher speeds and other things like that, obviously you don't want a body of water being so close to the road. In this case, I don't see that being an issue, especially with the being a residential street and everything. I would say, with the building being permitted to be up within 10 foot of the right of way, I don't have any concerns with the pool being having the same distance from that right of way. I don't see any concerns with that. And Dan, you probably know this off the top of your head, or maybe not, but I believe there's a 16-foot, the right of way, from the edge of curb at the street to the edge of the sidewalk, I think is like a 16-foot buffer, essentially, or something in that range before you get to the property line or the building, the actual lot, correct?
There's from the back of the curb, we have the 7-foot tree lawn, streets, tree lawn still in the right of way. Then we have a 4-foot sidewalk, and then it's 1 foot back. So it's 12 to 14 feet. Yes.
Okay, yeah, so you have about 14 foot there, and we're asking, to move this up to then 10 past that. So, you're talking, 24 feet, 22 feet. So, I think there's plenty of distance there that, if something were to happen at the street, a car's not going to, travel that distance going the speed that it should be and then go into the pool. And even that said, our houses are that close. So it would be more of a concern, the house is
Right.
the same distance. So, overall, I don't have an issue with this. I don't see any problems with it. I know why the code was written. I don't think it's necessarily something that applies here. So I don't have an issue with it.
Thank
I'm
you.
assuming these cars are going like 25 miles an hour. That's the posted speed limit.
Yeah, these are 25-mile-an-hour speed limits. And again, we kept the fencing requirements and everything else just to, we, as most of you know, we've gone back through for the last 7 years, and we'll always have little minor modifications that hopefully will help Orange Township tweak their zoning code to be more applicable today than when it was written. So
How wide are those streets, Ken?
what are they, 24 to 26?
Is there any parking on any of those streets? Nope. Any on-street parking?
On Linden, I'm just looking out in front of there's no parking signs on both sides on Linden.
Okay.
It varies, Dennis.
I thought that would be true because obviously there's some streets that are wider, some streets have retail and stores. So yeah, I would suspect it's totally different throughout that entire development. Yeah, I get that, of course.
Yep.
No, I'm with Adam. I don't really have any issues with it as well. This was already designed to be completely different with respect to anything that had ever happened in Orange Township. And that's all good. It is. That's good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, Christine, go ahead.
I was gonna say, initially I was concerned, but since the pool setback is the same, like Adam brought up the house setback, you have just a likely chance of jumping the curb and hitting the house. You still have a good extra, almost 20 feet buffer to take care of that. Sorry, don't know what that was. So I really, as long as the pool's not in the front yard, I can handle that. As long as it's tucked in the side yard behind a fence, that it doesn't go out beyond the house. I agree that I think the language concerning impoundments is more suitable for 23 or even South Old State or Orange or, any of the major thoroughfares where people are going like 45 miles an hour. And there aren't fences around those impoundments. The fact that you have a fence around the pool also provides a certain level of safety if someone does happen to, jump a curb or something like that. So, yeah, I think, that the impoundment language doesn't quite apply in this situation. So I agree with Michelle and Adam in that aspect.
Yeah, no, I was just going to add, Dennis, you bring up a good point because I think, the second thing the board most commonly is going to look at is, or be concerned with is, if we grant an amendment, what is this going to do in the future for other developments? And if, now this is going to be something that everybody's going to point to and say, well, look, you did it here. Well, in that case, this is so unique that I don't see that happening. I mean, this is something where, if a development now goes in and it's off of, whatever road and they're asking for the same thing, it needs to meet the same criteria. And, Dennis, with the zoning code rewrite that's coming up, like this is a great opportunity to get these things buttoned up. So, this can be specific to this type of development and not necessarily apply to, more common developments that we see throughout Orange. So I think that's a good point, just to reiterate that, this isn't something that I have any concerns with. I don't know if anybody else does that, we're going to have another developer come in and say, well, this was granted here and we think we should get it too. Unless it's the same case, I feel like we're covered. I mean, it's fine. So.
Yeah, I mean, I have not had this issue until Evans Farm. So I'd like to think it's not a consistent issue throughout the township. Or I don't want to say issue. It just something, Evans is unique. So
I'd wager to say that Evans Farm will remain unique in the township for my lifetime, I'm sure.
I agree, Ken.
Yeah, I mean, Dennis and I were both there at the initial zoning, and we struggled with the fact that Evans Farm never actually fit in our code because it was such a unique situation with the smaller lots, with the smaller setbacks that are normally not allowed in our code. So it is like a one-of-a-kind type thing. So I don't think a developer could say, oh, well, you did it at Evans Farm, I should be able to do it in my development, because I don't think, like you said, another development is going to go the route of Evans Farm, which withstood a lot of scrutiny by the zoning commission when we first tried to make sure of the product we were getting. So it is unique.
Yeah.
And I think I want to thank you guys. I mean, I think our residents and the community as a whole really appreciate what we've all put together here. And it has been your willingness to allow us to create a true gathering place in a community like this that's unique around the country, no question. So thank you guys as usual.
All right. Is there any other comments from the board before we open it up to public comment? All right. At this time, we'll open it up to public.
I'm sorry, Sarah, you went on mute. Did you have something to say? Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I agree with the overall group consensus. I don't have a problem with it. And like you all have said, it seems extremely realistic for the development of Evans Farm.
Thank you, Claire.
Okay. At this time, we'll open it up to public comment.
So this is Rosalie Fenner, and my husband Matt and I just want to take this opportunity to thank both the Orange Township kind of zoning committee and board, as well as Dan Evans Farm for kind of listening and kind of adapting and helping us build this community. And I agree with Dan. And when I talk to all of our neighbors, this is a place like no other. We're so excited to be here with the great neighbors we have and building something that's very different that you can only find here. And so your willingness to listen and just kind of adapt as opportunities come up to continue to make this a place that we love and that we can really enjoy, again, being out, being in our neighborhood, being with our neighbors that are now becoming our really good friends. We just want to say thank you, for your willingness to continue to help us, kind of grow and evolve the neighborhood. And we're super excited to be a part of it.
And I do want to note for the record that Ms. Fenner emailed me, including letters from other neighbors sharing support of this amendment. And I've passed that along to the board members.
Thanks, Michelle.
Yeah. Any other public comment?
Let me see. I don't have any hand raises, or if anyone wants to go unmute yourself.
Support.
This is Kaitlyn Neal. I also live in Evans Farm on Linden Street. My husband and I, obviously we support what Dan was saying, that, we truly believe this is a unique place. I came from Dublin, and my grandmother currently lives in Westerville. And this was the only true opportunity that we had to be able to have her in a location so close to us. So has brought us to Orange Township, and we feel like this is unmatched by any other area. Like Dan said, unique across the nation. So I think this community, in the years to come, will make Orange Township ultimately stand out among the other communities in Central Ohio.
That's the goal.
That is the goal. One more plug before you guys go to voting. We are going to, the Parade of Homes with the BIA is a citywide thing where different developments will put in houses. And during September 3 weeks, the BIA will, people will drive around. There's no Parade of Homes per se on any one area. However, we are going to sponsor that. And so I will be getting in touch with the Orange Township officials and others to do a city scene article, as well as, just want to, this is all of our hometown. So in September, we'll love to have some events, cars and coffee and things during the parade, but we'd love to make sure you guys help support us. And I will get in touch with you, Michelle, because City Scene is waiting for us to write an article about Evans Farm and the community. So I'm plugging again.
I'm your point of contact. So
Yep.
Any other promotional events to share?
Oh, we'll have our normal street fairs and things. We'll have something in August, and then September will be the parade where cars and coffee and a few of those items. And of course, we'll have our fishing contest in late September, early October with Bass Pro Shop. And yeah, looking forward to it.
Good. Well, I just want to make note, I know there's a lot on this call. If there was something, when we close public comment, and if there was something else you wanted to share, please feel free to forward it to our office, as I'll pass it along to the Board of Trustees, because that will be the next step after tonight.
Thank you.
And for the board's consideration, I did draft a a recommendation for this evening.
All right. Is there any further comments from the board? All right, so we will close this meeting for comment. Can I get a motion to recommend approval of zoning application ZON-21-04 regarding Evans Farms SFPRD?
Moved by Dennis McNulty to recommend to the Board of Township Trustees the approval of zoning application ZON-21-04 of Evans Farm Land Development Company, LLC, requesting the amendment of the currently effective development plan for Evans Farm Single Family Planned Residential District, SFPRD, applications number 15-0105, ZON-17-07, and ZON-19-03. Further move that this recommendation is for an amendment in accordance with the changes to the development text, section 21.05A, submitted by the applicant, the pages of which are stamped received with Orange Township zoning above and May 28, 2021 superimposed over received by Orange Township zoning. Further move that all portions of the previously approved application and development plan of application number 15-0105 as modified by applications ZON-17-07 and ZON-19-03 that are not changed herein shall continue in full force and effect.
Second,
Motion made by Mr. McNulty to recommend approval of zoning application number zone-21-04 regarding Evans Farm Single Family Plan Residential District. Second by Ms. Trabellis. Those voting, Mr. Pahovich,
Yes.
Mr. McNulty,
Yes.
Ms. Trabellis,
yes.
Mr. Pierce,
Yes.
and Ms. Harris.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
So the board, I know I added another agenda item for minutes and I just didn't have time to read them. So I apologize, and I probably didn't send them. So I've also apologized for that. But
I think I received them.
I will send them. And luckily we haven't had a ton of meetings lately, so we should be, we're not too behind. Apologize for that.
No problem. It's understood after everything going on that you have a lot going on, Michelle.
Yes.
That's the least of our worries is meeting minutes right now.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And we do have a zoning commission meeting next week for the work session regarding the multifamily development on Shanahan and 23. So that should be good. Mr. Bellis is not able to attend, so we did seek, I think, Mr. Freeman. Well, this will be his first meeting. So
Okay, yes, I will be unavailable that day, so, and we'll probably not be able to make it to the Evans Farm event either, I'll have to see. Unless stuff is going on.
Michelle, is that at 6 on the 8th?
the 8th is at 6, yes.
Okay.
And that could be, so the one on Tuesday is in person. Because by law, we have to have all of our public meetings in person starting July 1st. So the one on Thursday with Dennis and Adam, that's going to be held via Zoom.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right.
And that's all I have this evening.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Meeting
See you
adjourned.
Tuesday.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank
All
you.
right. Bye.